Hello again. Brian Jennings. The man who would have been a movie star. This channel is dedicated to processing my relationship with Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is a powerful psychic clairvoyant who remote views people as a psychic voyeur and jumps into the mind of the actors in his films. He sees the movies as the ultimate expression of intention and will. He's interested in satanic occultism. I wrote him a series of letters about playing the movie Critic. And that set into motion a series of events that led to where we are now. So, I've written a novel. We're reading through the novel. A big part of my insight, a big part of my tactics, is the recognition that geometry, is a pillar of Hercules, That it is, a great fulcrum of wisdom and understanding, And so, as far as my day today, I did this, which is quite exciting to see it done. Took me maybe 4 tries to get it, but this will yield, it has a series of numbers 0 to 13, all 59 stellations of the icosahedron, drafting compass, and a ruler, no cheating. And so that's from Coxeter, famous mathematician. And so now that I have my template, I can get tracing paper and put them all together. Weininger espouses in the prologue to his first book, Polyhedron Models, that despite the difficulty it yields illumination, you will be enlightened thereby. So, Saturday night. I don't know what they talk about. I don't know. What does he tell people? There's no formula where this persists for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, This is where the fear for my life, palpable. And I'm assured, oh, no, we can't kill you, But, I have no choice but to talk about it. And so I've written a novel. It's a novelization of my experiences. And so I suppose I'll pick up where I left off. Anna, same place. We talked more. We both were more comfortable around each other. As the dihedral pitch of the sun transitioned to dusk, a couple, older, emerged on my right. Not old, but 10 years older than me at least. The wife asked me where I was from, which was the first I was seeing them. It seemed like they were late. Everyone else had been there over an hour already. I looked them over for only an instant before feeling safe, smiling to them both and answering, I'm from Alabama originally. They live in Milwaukee, Alpine Valley being their hometown venue. I went in 2019, and we all had a nice recollection of that now legendary Sunday show with the 38-minute vermilion crest. I got more songs I had never gotten before at that show than any other. They had seen them there earlier this year, during the tour leading into Mondegreen. They told me about how their son had to be operated on in utero. It was wildly interesting in a technocratic sense. Featured in the media, a source of great strain, I have no doubt. But the boy's alive and well with one lung. A great tumor had developed, and the surgery removed it. The husband designs air filtration systems for pharmaceutical research facilities. The idea being that noxious fumes and powders are sucked out of the atmosphere before lethal amounts are accidentally inhaled. Each building offers its own nuance of problems and necessary fluctuations. He digs doing it, and thereby made me dig it. I talked to him about Alpine, how sometimes situations of reflection arise along the way, but largely it is monotony. I did tell him I was a writer, though I never mentioned Alistair to anyone during the actual festival, only before and after. Beautiful women all around me. I spoke little to them, though I shared a moment with one about how the LA law firm she works for is banned from all MSG venues. She has to wear a mask anytime she goes to MSG or the Sphere, arguably the two most premier venues to see Clam. That sucks. The band came on around 7 p.m. They opened with Hopping Circle Domicile, a fun, short, beautiful song, Sorority Girl Clam. It marked a good time to come. She came to me once, asking if I did have it. I told her the truth. I don't know. It is the last time I've spoken with either of them, any of them. Maybe there are 3, 4. I was wearing a red hat that read Reba, though it looked like Sega. And when they started playing my hat, being a classic song loved by all, I strategized to hike out and get more water. The drugs were running their marathon, and compounded on yesterday's dance party, I found myself in a more exasperated state of dehydration. I realized before the band even came on I would have to go out at some point. So while everyone was googly-eyed at Reba, I shuffled up and back, making it back to my spot before the jam even started. What a fucking pilgrimage, I said upon arrival. Anna's boyfriend, wide-eyed with chemical enhancement, looked back, read the hat, gave it a lucky rub, to which I pointed, saying, "Eh? I prophesy." To my left, a beautiful angel. Shorter, dark, curly hair, looked inquisitively. It was the first I'd seen her, with a guy behind her. Couldn't tell you what he looked like. The two of them disappeared around set break, with the rest of us, most of us that is, taking a seat. I talked more with the lawyer girl, her friend complimenting my dancing, saying how nice I was and what a good job I was doing protecting our spot. I almost forgot about that. The unwritten rule of the floor, of the rail, they say, is that the cost of admission is vigilance, patience. Where I was represented the first row of true general admission. And we were just as possessive. As the first set got underway, I saw this guy materialize like 2 or 3 rows ahead of us. He looks at this guy ahead of me and is like, "You guys got room for one more, right?" All aggro, looking mean at this motherfucker, to which he replied, "No, hit the fucking road, guy." Sure enough, not 3 minutes after being shuffled all the way to us, he tried to plop right between me and the people to my left. I was very calm and informed him that we had all been waiting and that he needed to keep walking. He became ostentatious, saying that he had been waiting as well, to which I replied, "Well, if that's true, then why aren't you where you were?" He sighed cartoonish in frustration before walking away. It was the first of numerous similar instances. I can remember during set break behind me there was a girl with glasses. We had a moment. I smiled and mouthed hello, and she darted her eyes anywhere else, blushing. The band came back on just as that beautiful curly-haired goddess returned. I looked to them and declared they had perfect timing. She smiled big. I kept dancing. Maybe 3 songs into the set, another fairy erupted into the air between me and Beauty. Being hot, and therefore allowed to stay, I shuffled my water bottle over to give her room. She dashed elsewhere just as fast and light as she had entered. Adopting my previous locale, I broke the ice, asking if that was a friend of hers. She smiled, nodding affirmative, perhaps with an MDMA glaze over her eye. To which I said, "She seems fun." She agreed, saying that she is, in fact, fun. I put my hand out and said, "Ethan, nice to meet you." She went straight through my hand and embraced me. "Hi," she said, "I'm Eva." After separating my face full blush, I blurted out, "You're so lovely." Her big eyes lit up. She squealed and put her hand out like a princess. I told her never to change, as I kissed it. I would guess her guy was salty. I never met him. He tried shuffling her away from me, but she was back soon enough. When Clam came on for the encore, they warned us all not to leave. That their famous secret set is tonight. Secret's out, Clay said. And we all had a good chuckle. I said bye to Eva. Told her she was devastating. That I was burning. But that she already knows that. I dashed away as the encore ended. Musically, it is my only misstep. I was not close for the secret set. I guess Eva made me nervous. I didn't see her again. With regards to the secret set, critically, it is their finest hour as far as histrionics. The catalog of secret ambient sets performed at these festivals over the years. Decades. Patient, wide, yet distilled, focused, as beautiful as any jam lifted from any era. It was complete. A vision of sonic texture manifested. They raised bands of projection screen ribbons which had visuals in front of the band. Likely visuals produced but not used for the Sphere shows earlier this year. Another hour of music. Some 4.5 hours of music in one night. A perfect night of Clam. Afterwards, I partied until a similar hour at the campsite, playing guitar and carousing with everyone, dancing to the DJ. Good times. 10 a.m. I was up. So I'll stop there. It's a novelization about my experiences with Quentin Tarantino in the movie Critic. I am the reason that Quentin canceled the movie Critic last April, and he and I have been embroiled in a legendary psychic siege. Right? The two of us have become a case study in remote viewing. Right? He's spent some 1,000 hours remote viewing me, right, and crawled all the way into my mind. And so this is why we're talking about it, right? This is why I live in palpable fear, right? Because if he doesn't want to actually spend any real time with me, and it's, that's all I can assume. No one wants to say anything. Right? He wants to cross his arms, and I guess that's fine on some level, as far as it's his show, But, right, he's engendered such a condition psychologically, right, as a result of crawling all the way into my mind, and thereby, right, I've crawled all the way into his mind, right, that if we don't make any real memories, right, then we both exist as psychic phantoms in the other one's mind, and we'll both question our every thought forever, right? That he's, right, that this is why it's obvious he would never, right, anyone who's in the know, right, of course, if they ask him, do you expect this to persist for 20 years, he has no choice but to say no, because it's ridiculous. No one would wish that upon themselves, right? Therefore, the goal was always for me to blow my brains out, right? Therefore, right, I live in perpetual fear that he's going to send people to assassinate me and my entire family, because if I'm dead, he doesn't have any more mental health issues, does he? Right? So, right, I suppose I'll stop. It's late. Right. Life is not an accident. See what's good in your life. Hold those close to you dear. Uplift your soul to God. Be motivated by the right things. Right? Like, comment, subscribe, share. Pray for me. Pray for Quentin. Help bring this to an amicable resolution. Otherwise, we're just mortal enemies and it's a sick psychic siege. God bless.